Good morning. I haven't been here in a while. I think it's been 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks?
Yes, two
Yes.
weeks.
Good morning. We're here with live with Joan, and it's always fun to be here. And I actually really look forward to doing these, and it kind of structures my week, if you will. Of course, my classes really structure my week, but I just love doing this. It's the only thing I do before 10 a.m. or at 10 a.m. because when you live by yourself on a little ranchette, it's very difficult to get everything done. But here I am, and I'm really grateful to be here. I love being here with you. It's very important for me to be here with you. And I feel like we're in crazy times, so really anchoring in what it is that we want to be doing is, I think, super important. Are you waving to me, or are you just doing something?
I was muting you so I could clear my throat. So, all right.
All right.
Anyway,
So
Leslie
Claudia's
Williams says
here
hi.
on my FaceTime. What's that?
Leslie Williams says hi.
Hi, Leslie. So happy to be here. I'll tell you a little bit about my adventures. And what else? Well, lots.
Who are you?
Lots. Who am I? I know, I'm about to do the introduction. Who am I? Thank you. I've not had enough coffee. No, I was going to do the introduction. Hello. Lots to talk about. And if you're new to me, I'm Joan Ranquet. I'm an animal communicator, author, energy healer, TEDx speaker, and founder of Communication with All Life University. And Communication with All Life University is a program or programs where you can learn animal communication or become an animal communicator. You can learn energy healing or become an energy healer for animals, and you can learn about nature and wildlife in a more energetic way. We also have classes with my other little company, Jill and Joan Healing, and we have a lot of acupressure classes. So um, we have some big stuff coming up in all of the above. Marie Christine's Subtle Energies class is coming up. Yeah, we're taking a pause for the summer with the acupressure, but for animal communication and energy healing, we have the virtual retreat coming up. So I think it's, anyway, that's me. And who are you? Please say hi in the chat. And maybe, is anyone here, Claudia?
Yeah, Shannon Meyer says hi. Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Shannon. That's it.
Tanya says hello. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, Tanya.
Shannon says, any questions about any of the classes, please don't hesitate to reach out to her. You can email Shannon at info@joanranquet.com. It's also in the chat, so if you need to refer back to it, it's info@joanranquet.com. Lynn Bridge says, hi, everyone. Hello.
Hi, Lynn. So we're super excited. We've got, it's, I don't know how else to say this except that I'm super proud of some of the stuff that like Claudia's doing, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. But I've been, well, I'm gonna just let the cat out of the bag. Since I let the cat out of the bag about the book, I'm also in this little web-based TV show that hasn't come out yet with two holistic veterinarians and a dog trainer, and then a wacky host, although we might be changing hosts from what I hear. We've shot like 8 episodes. I shot this weekend, so I didn't really get a weekend. And then, and we had one of the guests that we got to interview is Dr. Alan Schoen, who's written more books than anyone. And he's one of the original veterinarians that, I mean, really the original veterinarian that his whole focus was love. And so being on and interviewing him, I was kind of dumbstruck just because I've read all his books, of course, and he also really brought in the energetics of acupuncture for people that were, for veterinarians that are in acupuncture school. So like when Dr. Jill Todd, my partner in Jill and Joan Healing, had talked about Dr. Alan Show, and I was like, oh my God, of course I know who he is. And, she said he was just such a pioneer even for acupuncture. So it was really great to be with someone who's not at the end of his career, because in many ways he's at the beginning of this whole other spectrum of love. And I really, I've been contemplating that a lot over the weekend since we filmed. And, you know, we have a real opportunity here to be in a space of um, holding that with and for each other. And we do in the school, but even I want to extend it out even to this Facebook Live group where it's like really supporting this thing, this and Dr. Rupert Sheldrake calls it the morphic resonance, the morphic field, and I call it the morphic field, or also the ecosystem of your home. And Dr. Schoen had all these other wonderful ways of saying it. So I feel like there's a few of us on this idea of the energy field. And I really, I mean, it's something that I definitely want to explore in the, we look at it on the Friday night of um, the virtual retreat coming up in July. But it's something that I also want to really be thinking about because we really explore it again in the fall with the fall intensive. And right now, a number of people are in. Thursday will be week 3 or week 4 of energy healing for animals. How could that be? Could that be week 4? No. I did one, you did one. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That just blew my mind because I feel like that class just started. But anyway, the point is that when we're really looking at harmony in our households, we can be like our household can be a little teeny petri dish for what is going on out in the world. And trust me, with everything, like when I was landing from Cabo last Tuesday, I turn on my phone as I landed in at LAX, and boom, 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 this whole thing about the Texas shooting. I mean, it's like as if Ukraine isn't enough. Like, where is the break and where is the love? Where is the love? Like, we've got to be love in action. We can't just be, and that's something we learned a lot from with the series we did this winter, right? The wonderful series we did. But I really just want to be a reminder of that. And then I also want everybody to take a moment to really think about what it is you want to do with this work, because I feel like we are on the brink of doing some great stuff. And I'll let Claudia talk a little bit about that. And if Afton is with us, she can share. But it, the it's like, are you interested in animal communication or are you really committed? And if you're committed, then I think you need to talk to Shannon. If you're interested, then you can kind of lope along with us. That's a horse term, and it's a Western term. I actually ride dressage, so I can't believe I just said lope. You can canter along with us. But anyway, um, so who's here, Claudia? I just rambled.
Okay. No, are you kidding me? I didn't interrupt. I didn't want to interrupt that. Okay, so Lynn Bridge says hi, everyone. Denise Nessel says hi from Denise and Darby. Hello.
Hello, and I have a Denise question. Denise, did the tapping in class the other night help? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Amy Colette Elwin says hello, new to the group. Welcome, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Hello. Chris Wilson says good morning. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning,
Debbie
Chris.
Holbrook.
Hi, Debbie.
Says hello from Nokomis, Florida. Cheryl Cook says hello, everyone.
Hello, Cheryl.
And okay, sorry, I was getting a text.
I don't, because we have this thing where I can bring guests on, I cannot see the chat. So it's not like anything like things start scrolling through. Or is there? It doesn't matter. I think it's better that I don't see it anyway.
Okay, I was just trying to get an update on Afton. She's coming on in a minute.
Okay.
And I'm also wanted to post the retreat you were talking about.
Oh yeah.
So, but before we do that, I just want to say, you were saying something. Hold on.
I talked a
cut you off.
lot. What do you want to talk about?
Okay. Oh, okay. So Julie Gorman says hello, first time here. Welcome, Julie.
Hi, Julie.
Denise Nessel says, "Ha, still have my right arm, but yes, it seems to be working fine."
Okay.
Julie Jacobs says, "Hi all." Agnes says, "Hi everyone." Hi,
Hi,
Joan.
Julie.
Hi,
Hi, Agnes.
And Afton is on.
Okay.
So I could bring her on.
Okay. So I'll bring Afton on. Claudia will do it. I'm just sitting here drinking coffee.
But before we bring Afton on, can you just talk a little bit about the virtual retreat? I'm going to post the link here for everybody.
Yeah. So the virtual retreat is, you and Shannon would know the dates better than me, but it's in July.
Hold on, I got it.
Oh my God.
Sorry, my brain.
It's July. Is it the 10th, 11th?
22nd through 24th.
22nd through 24th. Okay. That's right. I'm filming on the 10th. My weekends. Okay. I have no weekends until August.
Is somebody drinking water?
Yeah, that's Abby. Do we want to get a close up?
How did I know? That's,
Yeah.
I know that sound.
Yeah, and there's a cat tail right up there. That's Buster Keaton's tail.
That's Buster Keaton's tail.
Oh, hi, Abby. Abby says hi.
Hi, Abs.
Oh my God.
I miss her.
She's so dirty. I have dirty farm dogs. Anyway, so the virtual retreat is Friday night is talking about, so the whole thing is called Bridging Animal Communication and Energy Healing. And Friday is really going to go into a bit about morphic resonance and why energy healing, and we'll do some exercises around that. So Friday is an intro, but super interactive. And I'm not much of a lecturer. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Everybody will tell you that if I answer a question, it's usually long form. But I'm more of, as far as teaching goes, for the most part, I'm a believer in jumping in. So we will jump in to do some kind of exercises that give us a sense of the energy field. The next day is going to be like animal communication boot camp. And again, I want the people that are committed, that really want to do this work. So if this is something you want to do, I really encourage you to be there. If you aren't in some other program, I know that many of you are on your path, and I'm super excited. Like Agnes and Lynn and Cheryl, of course, and Chris is coming out of the path into a wild, open field. But there's, and if I forgot somebody, I apologize, of the new people. But for the people that are new to this live or are going to see this later, that day of animal communication, it's like you will receive a bonus of a beginning animal communication in advance. So you'll get to do an animal communication class before you get to it. And then we're really going to jump in. I will kick it off, but my teachers will be helping me, and we'll be breaking up into small groups so that everybody gets a really powerful experience. And that's my, you know, I don't like the word guarantee, but that, you know, nobody walks out of a class without experiencing something. That's
true.
Yeah. So
that is very true.
Yeah. You're what?
I was going to say, our intention as a school is that everybody leave with an amazing experience. And usually, I don't know about before I came along. I'm just kidding. Wow. I have yet to meet someone who has not gotten an amazing experience through one of your retreats or intensives.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun, and and we get a lot done. It's
Yeah.
very efficient, if you will. So then on Sunday, we're going to jump into the scalar wave, which before EFT was my number one go-to energy healing modality. And we will do that. And just for the human, we aren't going to do it for others, but we're going to have a really powerful experience. And you're going to see how you are really the vibratory machine, if you will, that's at the center of your own morphic resonance, your own ecosystem, your own world with your animals. And um, it is absolutely a I like to say that the scalar wave is healing. It's a healing technique, but it's relaxing, and it's a bit diagnostic. I mean, you can really, as you're going through your body, you can really see some places where maybe you want to work on it a little more. So anyway, that is the virtual retreat. It's super fun. I love doing it. It's right kind of in the middle of summer, but it's not horribly long hours, so you still have your, you can still go to a vegan barbecue if you want. Um, you can still have a morning if you're on the East Coast. So it's meant to be a little boost because the school tends to take August off, and so we want to do something right before, something fun to keep people going. Because that's the thing, is that, no matter what, if you're interested in doing this or you're committed, your level of practice, your level of trust, and your level of confidence is, all three of those are their own muscles. So you've already got to work on the telepathic muscle, and then eventually you work on the animal medical intuition muscle, but that's another thing. And then you've got to work on those other muscles of trust and confidence and getting into the habit of practicing. Because your habit of practicing is what sets up a great practice. My wanting to talk to 10, 15 animals a week when I was just getting going, I was doing it for free until I was charging. And, it's, you do that thing you love, even if you're not charging at first, to be able to set up the space in the universe to do it. So it's practice, trust, confidence, and we will really be working on that on the retreat. So there was my long form answer.
Okay, well, there's been a little bit of confusion so we're clearing up the dates. Some people had it for the 15th through the 17th, and on the website it's the 22nd through the 24th. So we're clearing that up for everybody.
Okay.
We will let you know as soon as we get that cleared up. Okay, and then the next thing I want to say is there's a couple of questions actually. One is Lynn Bridge wants to know, would this be beneficial to those of us in AC certification, the retreat?
Yeah, you could talk to Shannon about that. I mean, you're going to get all of this. You're going to get all of it in the fall. And the one thing, when you're on that kind of a journey that you're on, we like for you to kind of pace it so that you're getting your case studies in. But I would talk to Shannon about that.
Okay. So we're clearing up all that. All right. So we have Afton on. We will clear up the dates as soon as we get confirmation. They are checking it. And then we have Afton on, who I don't know if anybody remembers. I don't know. There was a couple little things we did with two dogs that didn't
just
have homes and
giantly significant, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So I'm going to bring Afton on. I'm going to let her tell the story. I have a lot of screens up. Okay, here we go. Here's Afton.
Hey, how are you?
We can't hear you, Afton. It seems we've all been having issues with our sound. Joan, while Afton is figuring out her sound, Erica Washington wants to know what scalar machine is used. Should we purchase one in advance of the virtual retreat? Do you want to expand on that?
There's no scalar machine. I mean, there are scalar machines, for sure. Um, but we're going to generate this wave of energy within ourselves. So you don't have to purchase anything.
And I have to say, I've done both, and scalar wave that we do, that we generate ourselves, is powerful. Not saying it's better than or less than. I'm saying it is powerful. Powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all machines, and believe me, I love machines. I've got a Rife machine, I've got a TheraPlate, but they all came out of an idea that was created by some sort of an energy technique or modality or need. Like if you think about how many people were basically like shamans, were on some level such seers that they were able to do medical intuition. And then we come up with MRIs, right? Like this is not, no machine is better than something that's been perceived at some point by a human. And otherwise we couldn't have created it. So learning how to create that within yourselves is super powerful.
Great. Okay, Afton, we got sound? Nope. Can't hear you. Afton and I seem to be having issues with our microphones on our computers.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to jump out and come back in?
Yeah, Afton, jump out and jump back in.
Wait, I almost heard her.
Is it any better?
I can hear you, but you sound like you're in Tennessee.
Far away. and you're yelling.
And you're yelling, and I'm in California. So
jump out and jump back in. Okay. All right.
Anything else in the chat? Anyone else here?
That's pretty much it. Wait, hold on. We got Afton is ready to join. No, the headphones aren't working for Afton. Okay, here we go. Hi. No,
Hi.
Afton. We're gonna have to use your phone. Okay. So while Afton is getting herself set up, Joan,
Mm-hmm.
I will introduce who she's going to talk about and remind everybody who we're talking about if you would like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Afton and I have been working on a program with the school. It's called AC Level 4. Do you want me to come on?
Yeah, if you could come on for a minute, because I could actually disappear for 1 second.
Okay.
I'll hear you, but I want to dump out.
I'm going to hide you.
I'm going to tell you the honest to God truth. I want to dump out the old coffee.
Go do that. I will share. I'm going to hide. I apologize, everybody. Okay. Can everybody hear me? I just want to make sure because I'm using Joan's computer for sound. Okay. So Afton and I have been working. We have just completed the first part of 3 parts this year of AC Level 4. And AC Level 4 is broken down into 3. AC Level, it's animal communication. Level 4A was rescues. And we were working with rescue centers and fosters and shelters to help dogs and cats in the shelter system that needed homes and that were having their challenging cases where they're very difficult to adopt. The next phase where we started last Friday, which was an amazing start. We're doing the sanctuary call, and we spoke with a turkey on Friday who, I don't know if you've ever fallen in love with a turkey, but I guarantee if you met this turkey, you would fall in love with a turkey. He's not the first turkey I fall in love with. I actually went vegan because of a turkey many, many years ago. But this young gentleman, he's older, but he likes to think he's young, was pretty incredible. And we laughed and we cried, and we were able to bring some reassurance and some tools to the sanctuary who has him. So we were able to help in that situation. The calls aren't always easy. You hear some stories that will tear you apart, that can break your heart. But I do believe that having the tools that we've learned of that detached compassion has helped Those of us that are in the calls, I know Afton and I rely on that detached compassion greatly. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to get, you know, do what we do. And I know that Joan has taught us that because she has had to get there as well to be able to do what she does. And I think that's one of the most valuable things that I've walked away with, is that detached compassion, because in doing these calls, I made a post in the page on Friday about the class. In doing these calls, I realized what my why is. I love animals. I'm an animal person. I've loved animals my whole life. I knew that in some capacity I was going to work with animals, but Joan kept urging me to teach these classes, and she kept Joan nudging me.
Which is kind of like a shove down the hall, but you know.
Yeah, you know, with your feet sticking out. And doing this class has changed me in ways that I don't think I can or ever want to go back to. I've seen the need for animal communication in shelters. I've seen it's a need, it's the missing piece. And like I said, we had some heartbreaking stories, but we had two situations that were life-changing for these two animals. And I would like Afton to share about these two animals now that you all met them. I will talk about, it was Draco, who you all got to meet. You all got to see him, Mr. Spinner, little spinny dog, and Penny, our little tripod, who I think we've all energetically adopted in that class as our mascot for the rescue call. So Afton, go.
Is she frozen?
Can we hear you? No, it's not letting you. No. Oh my goodness, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna take this down. There we go. Turn the computer off.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, but we
Okay.
can't see you.
We can't see her.
You have to do it on
There
the
you
phone,
are.
and there you go. I'm turning your computer one off. I'm removing the computer. There we go. Okay, hi, Afton. Sorry, everybody.
Hey, that's okay. I can hear you guys, but it's really low, and I can't figure out how to make it loud, but it's okay. So Draco, update. He is in his adoptive home for a couple weeks now.
Yay.
Went by 2 weeks ago and checked on him. He is able to do her stairs, which is amazing, on his own. He, I think, has figured out that she will carry him, so he doesn't do it as much for her as he does for the husband. But he's capable of doing it on his own. He has lots and lots of toys. When I went over, he went over to the basket and got all the toys and brought them over in front of me, like, look at all the stuff I have. He's doing very well with resource guarding, even with the little girl. Like, he'll let her take the toys if she needs to from him. He only plays with his own stuff too, which is great. He doesn't bother the little girl's things. Takes lots of naps, enjoys the sunshine, gets to go outside a lot. He's doing really, really well. So I think with her, we're going to keep doing a little bit of EFT to help with the potty issues. And I think after everything we've done and started with him, that even that is better. He's having a lot fewer accidents in the house. So he's having a great time.
Okay, so let's review the steps of how we got there, because explain why he was really unadoptable before.
Yeah, the shelter called me for a 2-week board and train, which is something I do through Off Leash Canine, which is whole different thing. But our normal board and train is 7 basic commands, and we spend 2 weeks kind of fine tuning those and conditioning the dog to know what those words mean and be quick to respond and all that good stuff. So with the primary goal being building a better relationship with the owner and being safe, making safe decisions. So they just wanted him to come. She said, he's not doing well in the shelter. Can you work with him? So I picked him up and was immediately kind of like, this dog's doing some stuff that's kind of different. I don't feel like he's ready to do a normal 2-week train. And so I brought him home to evaluate him for a day or two. He was circling. Claudia mentioned the circling a lot, which can be a sign of neurological damage. It can be, different things. It can be OCD. He couldn't do my stairs. He couldn't jump out of my truck. So I knew something was going on. He had a vet evaluation where they thought it was OCD and just kind of said, go move on, do normal things with him. Well, he couldn't do those things. So, you know, if you did try to make him move forward when he would kind of get weird, or if you tried to make him jump out of the car when he didn't want to, he would zone out, and it was almost like he was not there anymore. From a training standpoint, that often looks like disobedience, and I can tell the difference, but there's a difference in I'm tugging on your leash trying to get you to do the walk with me, or I'm shut down and I'm not connecting with you at all. And he was doing the second one. So, you know, again, just making it more fun and doing the things you would do to get a dog motivated in training wasn't working with him. And so I talked to Joan about his symptoms and kind of sent some videos around, and between the vet and us and the shelter and,
Well,
you know,
here
everybody.
in the live, we did an animal communication.
Yeah.
You had done an animal communication, but we did a very, you know, it was quick, but we did also a medical intuition and found exactly where in his body
Hmm.
the swelling was. You saw a difference, so there
Hmm.
wasn't even, you know, you took that back to the vet, but it, I mean, that was definitely in here. If you haven't seen that video, it was about 5 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
4, I think.
Yeah, 4 weeks
Yeah.
ago. So it was amazing how fast he got adopted, because then we did some EFT. We maybe worked with him twice in here, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Hmm.
crazy how fast that was. And you had just been back from being out here and doing the acupressure, so you were able to work the acupressure points
Hmm.
of a neurological dog. And a neurological dog maybe that's more on the neurological side from a medical standpoint versus an accident or something that kept them out of alignment, people really overlook. And so those are dogs that are going to just get tossed aside at the shelter.
Yeah, him being in the shelter was not, he was never going to get adopted. I mean, if he got the slightest bit excited, he would start chronically circling. Um, and then we did some EFT, and even with some EFT, he was able to circle left, which doesn't sound like a huge shift, but when you've been circling right, you know, tens of thousands of times, and then your body's able to move the other direction, that's huge. Not to mention what it probably did for his muscles and just the release of not staying in that same position over and over
And
again.
the both hemispheres of the brain, right? Like, so
Mhm.
he so stuck to one side. So
Yeah. And the vet was floored. So we took him back for an x-ray just to make sure there wasn't anything else going on with his body. I think that was before Joan did the medical intuition. He had that scheduled anyway, follow up. And she called me and said, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. Like, he's so much different and so much better. And if you had just met him, you'd still be like, he's got some stuff going on. But if you saw the progression of that from where he started to where he got, it was huge. And then somewhere after we did the EFT and communication with him, he started trying to do my steps, and he did them a couple of times all the way by himself, which was huge. He was not circling nearly as much. I mean, it became more of like I'm doing a circle versus circle, 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 which is the energy that was around that when it was happening in the beginning. And he doesn't do it, you know, really chronically anymore at all. He'll kind of do it periodically, you know, but not, it's not like a festering behavior that would hinder him from getting adopted at this point. So,
because
yeah.
he's adopted.
Yeah, because he's adopted, and he's been there several weeks, and they love him, you know. And she was, his mom was actually in foster care, so she had kind of a really cool story of her own, and felt very strongly that, you know, a person who's maybe a little behind the curve deserves that chance to come up and show what they can do. And so it was important to her to give him that chance, and she has taken time to learn, you know, kind of some of the sensory stuff and the acupressure stuff that we've talked to her about, and she's done a great job with him. But it really did shift him from something the shelter could not handle. I mean, they didn't have the skill set or the knowledge base or the resources available to them that they knew of to work with that kind of a symptom.
And then our other dog.
And Penny's short story is that she came from a drug house, lived with 2 adults, and was physically in pretty bad shape. They had not been super kind to her, best we could tell. So that's all that to say, she still had a home and people that she enjoyed. So she was going through a lot of things when we got her. On our Friday call, most of the message that we got from her was confusion, frustration. She was, even kind of disrespected. She felt kind of disrespected that she was plucked out of her life and nobody really asked her if that's what she wanted. She hated the shelter. It was loud and overwhelming. She'd never been anywhere like that. She didn't understand why nobody was.
She would pancake.
Pancake, yeah, she was afraid. When she would periodically be afraid and then reactive. So it was like she was kind of bouncing in this place of just she was so uncomfortable and not confident. She didn't have a job. She didn't understand why they took her job away. Just the theme was very clear when we spoke to her as a group, which again I think is part of the power of that class, because the shelter isn't just hearing from one person and maybe I'm attached to the outcome of that dog, so I'm going to tell you a bunch of stuff I think the dog thinks. Well, it's different when you've got 6 or 7 or 8 people telling you, different versions of that truth, which is what the dog is saying. It carries a lot more weight, I think, when you're talking to somebody who isn't familiar with this process. And so, Ashley was crying, the shelter director that we talked to, and we just basically confirmed things that she felt about the dog, but she needed somebody to tell her, from a different point of view, I think. And so
didn't the dog have an appointment to be
Yeah.
euthanized?
She tried to pull her off our program and switch out for a different animal because she had gotten so reactive that last few days they were afraid to place her. And so I asked a couple of questions about that and talked her into giving us that day to talk to her, and then trying to come up with a plan after that. And so I did end up doing a short board and train with her, which bought her some time. Basically, that got her in my house so we could work with her more. So we taught her some basic skills, but we also did a lot of EFT. Claudia did some really good EFT with her. You did a session of EFT with her, to try to, I think overall we were trying to build her confidence and then, help her get over that hump of like, I can do something else. I can be in a different place and thrive and be good. And I can let my guard down and I can trust people and all that good stuff. And so, she got there. I mean, she made friends with me in a day or two, but she quickly latches onto a person and then wants to guard them with her whole heart. And so, again, that's not a very adoptable behavior, because unless I'm a person who really wants and needs a guard dog, which I would caution most people against trying to do at their house, it's not fair to the dog, to put them in that position either. So we also gave her a different job. Claudia told her she was a candy strapper and it was her job to be friendly and fun and for everybody to get to know her and greet everybody and fill everybody with joy, which is who she is as a person. I mean, the second time we read her in the behavior class, some of you guys know her from there. It was a different group of people reading her, but she didn't say anything about her story and all those upset feelings. She only said, I'm happy and I'm great at this. And I showed everybody her belly where she was flipping over. She showed them who she was showing me she was, not talking about what she had just gone through. So, EFT is supposed to clear and move things. I mean, she clearly was in this place and then we did EFT and she moved over to this place. You can see it in those 2 readings, comparing the 2 readings. And she got adopted by a lady who has followed rescue down here for a long time, but she actually went on transport and has been very happy, liked her immediately, which I was worried about. But she, again, she's Candy Strapper. Candy Strapper meets everybody with a smile. So she got up there and said, "Hey, Corey, I'll be your dog," and settled right in. And she's played with her dogs, and she's, for all intents and purposes, she fits right in. So it's been really
Awesome.
magical to watch.
And this was a dog that, thanks to Afton's gut instinct to call the rescue when they changed the animal, because sometimes things happen and they have to give us a different animal because for whatever reason, she was scheduled to be euthanized that morning that we spoke to her. And I do want to bring up, I didn't bring this up when I talked about the rescue. After sharing this and after talking about what this call does, and like I said, this is my why. I mean, good luck to anyone who's going to want to. I mean, I found my way to stay in the school forever, Joan, and it's the rescue calls, CC level 4. But I do want to bring this up with all. Joking aside, is that there are prerequisites for this class, and the reason there are prerequisites for this class is because this is life and death. And we have a student in the program who asked Joan, like, why do we have to have all this prerequisites?
Wait, jump on. Don't just talk into my.
Okay.
She's sitting here on my iPad. I'm like.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So
I
we have a
can't see
student in
you.
the program who was actually in the class, who was in the rescue class.
Wait.
She
I
asked-
can't see you. Afton, can you see her?
Yeah.
Okay, then who cares? Go ahead.
You can see me on FaceTime. Oh my God, it's so confusing. We have so many different cameras pointed at us. What I was saying is we have a student in the program who asked Joan, like, I don't understand why there have to be so many prerequisites. And Joan, what did she say after the first class? Delia.
Oh yeah, she said, I get it. I'm so grateful that I did the 1.5 years because I couldn't have done that. She couldn't have done it because
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking. It's you feel if you didn't have the tool or the skill set, you can feel completely helpless. I mean, it can take the individual down, even though we're here to do it for them. And having this ability puts us in a position of being able to help gracefully, graciously, and in a state of elegance because we have detached compassion. Doesn't mean we're not going to still have an ugly cry, but
Oh no, there's
serving on that level with the animals. I was one of those people that was like, ah, I can't go into a shelter. Oh, I'm so sensitive. Me, all about me. I'm so sensitive, right?
that was me.
And that is,
was
if we want to help, this is what I'm saying, like either you're interested or you're committed. And if you're committed, we have tools because I can walk into a shelter and it doesn't take me down.
I did that the
Velia
other
can
day.
take a class and not get taken out by it.
So there's 2 examples I want to say why the prerequisites are so important, and I want to use the Penny example as one. When we connected with Penny, we all picked up. Every single one of us got what was going on in her life. We didn't need to know that she had been abused. We felt it.
Mhm.
We all felt it. We all saw it. So going into that and being able to witness that, hear that, see that, feel that, and still stay grounded enough and still stay in holding space enough to help. We didn't know. Afton's the only one that knew what was going to happen, what was planned to happen with Penny, and she kept that, thank God, under wraps until after the call. The woman who was taking care of Penny in the rescue,
The head of the shelter, we might add,
was struggling.
Mhm.
And she started crying, and all of us held space. Every single one of us held space, not just for Penny, but for her and for each other. And the transformation in that phone call, Zoom meeting, the transformation that happened for everybody in that moment of just holding space, because we knew that needed to get to move. And Penny has a home.
Yeah.
And I'll say too, like the thing that sort of is still going on because we did that and put that effort in and did that piece with Penny and with Ashley, like you said, is that Ashley felt defeated. That's a super hard job. You know, if you've never done work in a shelter, it's hard for a volunteer to go in and keep keep good energy for the animals and the people in there and whatever. It's because it's a lot. On a great day when
I want to kill people when I start,
Yeah.
Did I just say that out loud? When I hear
Yeah.
like owner
Yeah.
just dropped off the animal, like you
Yep.
just let go of your family.
Yeah, I've been in there and had to watch intakes just like that. Well, we got a puppy and it didn't work out. Here's our 12-year-old dachshund with back issues. You know, like it's over and over again. And so it's hard to walk in there and
Yeah.
not only maintain your own sort of emotional integrity, but then not be judgy or poor baby or all the things that are going to happen inside when you're going through that stuff. And so what happened with Ashley, I think, without speaking for her, because I can't, but you know, I do a lot of shelter stuff and I did a whole lot of shelter stuff years ago. And when you've had hard dog after hard dog after hard dog, you get to a place where you can't be as creative, you can't be as confident, you start to really get worn down and you feel very alone and having to try to find a solution. And so I think
Absolutely.
she got very overwhelmed, you know, and then Penny just was getting worse, not better. And I think the thing she kept saying to me on that phone call was, you know, Penny is not thriving here. And so her decision was not driven on selfishness or on, you know, I need an easy out in this situation. She was afraid she was making Penny worse by keeping her in the shelter, as she thought, because she couldn't find a way around it. And so not only were we the way around it, But then, what that did for Ashley, again, I can't speak for her, but the next time a hard dog comes in, she's going to remember that we're here.
Right.
So
Right.
we stopped that cycle of, you get a dead end dog, so to speak, and you've run out, you've done traditional things and it didn't work and we're done. We've thrown extra things in her toolbox.
But going back to we've done the traditional things, like the traditional thing should be just talk to the damn dog. Find out what the dog needs.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that should be the traditional thing. That should be step one. What have they been through? What do they have to get off their chest? What do they want? How do we, there are certain animals that I know. I have a few. Anya, my horse, was in a completely different scenario. She and I met, and it took like 6 years, but we knew the moment we met each other, we were supposed to be together, right? Like there are animals that know what they want. And if we don't get that out of them, how can we place them in their perfect right thing? And that's how they continually get returned is not, there isn't um, uh, a toolbox in your shelters where it's like, what do they want? What is their intention? How do we match that up with someone who wants the same thing? I mean, it really should be more like these dating services.
The other thing that I want to say that was kind of like the common theme across the board was that with every person who came on as our guest, who thanks to Afton and her amazing rescue connections we were able to get, they all said, well, the last one, I don't want to name anybody because of confidentiality, but she said, "Oh my God, this is the piece. This is what's missing. This is missing in the rescue world." But it's not just that; it's that we were able to validate rescues and the people working in the rescues, and that they're either doing that, they are right on the right path. They were doing, they were right all along. Ashley, since we already brought her name up, she just also started crying out of relief that she was right about Penny. But it was like she wasn't crazy. Like there is something about this dog that we can get her to the right place. We're not going to give up on her. And I just remember how much she loves Penny.
Yeah.
Right. So being able to do that, not just for the animal, but to be able to do that for these rescues. I mean, Joan, we started 2022 in Facebook Live on how to help animals. I'm going to start crying. Our mission was to help 22 million animals this year. I already feel that by just those 12 weeks of working in the rescue, the ripple effect that we have created in just the rescue. Let's take out the Facebook Lives we've done with all of the amazing guests, which I would love to do that also forever in the school.
Yeah, me too.
We have created a ripple effect that it's not crazy to think that we're going to help 22 million.
No, it's not crazy to think it at all. And it's a matter of, we just, I'll say it again, if either you're interested or you're committed. And if you're committed, you need to get on the phone with Shannon because it's a long haul to get to that point. But we need people to be trained and boots on the ground, like soon. Like we've got to do this because when my book comes out, EFT for Animals, next spring, I mean, we have an opportunity to really march in as an army and start helping these shelters and rescues. And we need to gather troops and we need to get the skills boot camp.
I'm probably the most impatient person that's ever gone through your program. And I will say everything, like I find myself now that I'm on the more advanced end of the thing and the 2-year spectrum, at least, like I can, every time a new student says something, I can hear your words, like, just do it the way that I say to do it. And the time I say to do it, it'll be fine. It'll all work out. You're not behind anything. Like I can hear you saying those things you said to me. And on the tail end, like looking at the prerequisites for this class, like you guys are talking about, there's a heaviness in this work that's not in, hey, I've got a dog, Susie, who, she won't eat her dinner tonight, like
Right.
there's no heaviness to that, in that there's the urgency is very different. The person's very concerned. It doesn't mean it's not real and urgent for that human, but the dog is safe. The dog's not in danger of going anywhere unsafe. The outcome of that reading is important, but it's not a life or death reading, and a lot of these are. And so if you come in and you're not confident, and I think that's really the thing that matters the most, is when you've done all those readings before you get to that point, you've had enough validation where you know that what you're getting is accurate, and you can quiet your mind in a better way, and you're just more prepared for it. And I think even if I had tried to do case, and I didn't, thank goodness, go to the shelters that I knew when I was new and say, hey, I'll do case studies for free for you, because I couldn't have done this stuff that way and
No.
done a good job for them. And
That's
it
why I'm
probably,
like, you guys, you can only make a first impression once.
yeah.
Cool your jets.
Yeah, and it would have probably crushed my progress, honestly, because it would have been so heavy that I would have had a very hard time doing
Or
a good
you would
job.
have been really disappointed in yourself because you couldn't do more.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's too heavy to carry on the front end of this.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. And so the prerequisites for this are that you have completed AC level 1 through 3, which is beginning animal communication, medical intuition, and behavior and dynamics. That you have completed 1 round of energy healing for animals, and that you have at least 65 animal communication case studies. Wow. And to be honest, I changed some of the prerequisites. I changed them after we did the 12 weeks. Because I felt that we needed to be a little bit more to be able to handle this. I mean, I've been in this program I graduated last year. I started in 2018. I was that person that would, freak out over a dog on Facebook needing a home. I mean, thank God my husband, he's an animal lover, but thank God he's definitely better than me at saying, no, we can't take that dog in.
Although you guys almost got a new dog the other day.
Yeah, because I took him to a no-kill shelter here that was having an event, and he's like, how do you do this?
Mm.
And I said, I've learned how to be able to walk into a place and know that I'm doing the best I can. And that as a team and as an army, I like the army, that we're making a movement, but it's just going to take one step at a time. But what I was going to say is I did make the prerequisites a little bit tougher. I made sure you have to have energy healing for animals completed. And it's not because of the animal that I asked that. I'm saying that because of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I needed that grounding, and I needed that holding space, because there were a few times in this 12 weeks that had I not had, and I'm not trying to push Joan's school, it's not about that. It's I truly believe, and I know it in my case, without a doubt, that had I not had that training that I've had, there's no way I would have made it through the first one.
No.
You're not pushing the school. What are you doing? I'm kidding. Of course you. No,
yeah.
But it's true. It's very true. My husband noticed the difference in me, and I'll be honest with you. That day that we went to this big rescue here, it's a no-kill shelter, and they were having this event. The animals, I mean, it's like a 5-star hotel, and I know what's going on over there. So he's like, you would never have been able to go into a rescue center or a shelter and walked out without me having to pick you up off the ground and sobbing. It's I still have that compassion. I still have that empathy, but I have learned where to direct it, how to use it, so that I am of the highest and best good for animals and not about me.
I can say too, as much shelter work as I've done, it changed me in a very different way too. And I'm strong enough to go in the shelter, but I carry a lot of anger at the public and at, different things. And I've battled shelters toward no kill and things like that. And the thing I can see in the future with this stuff is that, I have a different trust in Ashley, knowing that she was receptive to this, right? Like I trusted her because I taught her a lot of no kill stuff,
awesome.
and she's doing it, and she's doing the work, and I do love and trust her. And again, that decision she was going to make wasn't about Penny. It wasn't about Ashley. It was about Penny. But she wanted the best thing for Penny, but now I trust her to use this extra skill set. And so, it's just a different layer of trust I can have in any shelter that's willing to use it, because I know they'll use it. you know,
Yeah.
and it just shows they're that much more committed to the outcome for every animal. When you go to the no-kill function, you can trust that what they're saying is what they're doing, you know, if they're willing to work and do this stuff.
So I have to go because I have to teach advanced animal
Yes.
communication. But
So for
it's been really fun
those
to
of
be
you that are
back.
asking, yes, for those of you that are asking about the rescue call and how to find anything out, Amy, I see that you're asking where you could see it on the website. I'll be honest with you, the best thing to do would be to email Shannon, and there's so many different ways to get there. She can lay it out for you. There's a reason why Shannon is the one that does this, because she's got a magical gift that, yeah, I can't help you get from A to B, but she can. And on the website, I need to see where the AC level 4 classes are not offered on the website.
Because
They're
you
only
have,
offered to
yeah,
students
yeah, you have to be
in the
pretty
program.
advanced.
You have to be pretty advanced to do this. This is offered to graduates or people who are close to graduate. Thank you, Annie. She's going to contact Shannon.
Cool.
So that's info at joanranquet.com. Info at Shannon. Shannon.
Info at
Shannon Myers at info@joanranquet.com.
Okay, I have
all
to
right.
go. I have to go.
All right.
All right.
Bye,
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next week.